Hello, everyone out there in YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego, and today I'm going to continue my review of Breakfast at Tiffany's. That's right, Breakfast at Tiffany's, that piece of shit rom-com that y'all love so much. It's a piece of crap, let's face it. I never understand what so many women love this movie for. You know, I get a little bit of it. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's not great. It's not great. It does not deserve the reputation that it gets, okay? Now, what I do here is I'm going to give you a straight man's point of view. I'm going to talk about this movie the way I would talk to anyone about this movie, okay? I do not pull my punches here. I do not censor myself here. So if you're easily offended, if you're easily triggered, okay, if you're a snowflake, get the fuck out of here right now. I ain't got time for that shit. Okay, I'm gonna talk to you the way I would talk to a normal person, a guy. I'm gonna talk to you the way I would talk to a straight guy about this fucking movie and what bullshit it is. Now, it's not terrible, completely terrible. There's some good things in here, but the good does not outweigh the bad. Okay, there's so much bullshit in here. This movie has influenced so many other fucking rom-coms, specifically Sex and the City. Oh my fucking God. Watching this movie is like watching an episode of Sex and the City. And I have watched every fucking episode of Sex and the City. And I've reviewed every fucking episode of Sex and the City. It's on this channel, okay? And a lot of it was influenced with this fucking piece of shit movie, all right? So it's like watching Sex and the City in the same fucking neighborhood, same brownstones, you know, fucking Moon River, Henry Mancini, you know, the crazy ass fucking fashions. Like Carrie Bradshaw looked like a fucking Bozo the Clown all the time she was walking down the street. And the same thing with this bitch, Holly Galati. She's got a fucking satellite dish on her fucking head. She's wearing a fucking bed sheet, okay, at a party that's happening at her shithole apartment. You know, she can't cook. You know, oh shit, where have I seen all this shit before? Yeah, Sex and the City, exactly. And she's a fucking whore too. Okay, yeah, it's Sex and the City, all the fuck over again. And she's an alcoholic, and she's smoking like fucking crazy. Everyone in this fucking movie is lighting up like there ain't no fucking tomorrow. Unfucking believable. Yes, yes, they smoke in bed for Christ's sake with no ashtray. All right, that's how bad it is. Anyway. That's Breakfast at Tiffany's here, okay? So I'm going to review it here, as many videos as it takes. I'm gonna give you a straight man's point of view. That's the point of view you didn't get. Okay, your husband ain't gonna tell you this shit. Your boyfriend ain't gonna tell you this shit. You know why they're not gonna tell you? Because they didn't fucking watch it. And you know why they didn't watch it? Because they're not fucking gay. That's why. They don't give a shit. I didn't watch this movie till I was in my 30s. And the only reason I watched it was because some girls that I knew that I liked were telling me to watch it. So I did. I finally did. I was like, okay, it's all right, but it's not great. I don't understand what's so great. Gone with the Wind was better than this shit. But apparently, you know, you girls love this movie so fucking much. I don't get it. I'll never fucking understand. But we're going to dissect it anyway. We're going to deconstruct it. We're going to break it down. That's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to give you a straight man's point of view, okay? I don't pull my punches here, okay? I'm going to give you a straight up dose of truth, whether you like it or not. Straight up with no lube. No lube. Can you handle it? I don't think you can. In fact, I know you can't. I know you can't. But you're going to get it anyway. Here we go. All right. Now, when we left off last time, Holly was out there on her terrace, okay, well not her terrace, her window, next to the fire escape, okay, wearing her fucking capris and her fucking sweater and her fucking bandana around her head, you know, all Aunt Jemima looking, you know, and she's got her guitar there and she's fucking singing Moon River and she's playing Moon River. And Paul, of course, can't write worth a shit, so he can't think of anything original, so he decides he's gonna write a novel about Holly. Wow, Now, I wonder what inspired Truman Capote to fucking write that. Oh, yeah, he's also a gay guy who wrote a novel about his fucking friend, okay? His fag hag. Yes, that's what she is. That's what she is in the book. Okay, but she's not like that in this movie because, well, they couldn't get away with that in 1961 because the Hays Code, okay? But anyway, yes. So anyway, that happens. He hears her fucking singing. He goes out there, and of course, he's in love with her. He's been in love with her ever since he fucking met her, despite the fact that he's a fucking male prostitute. Okay? That he's got a sugar mama that pays him for every inch that he puts in her. Yeah, he leaves $300 every fucking time. Yeah, and she paid for his apartment. She bought his clothes. She pays for the liquor that she keeps him fucking drunk all the fucking time. She pays for the liquor, the typewriter, not the ribbon, the typewriter, the fucking apartment is fucking beautiful, man. All the expensive furniture everywhere. She pays for everything. You don't gotta do nothing except fucking slip her the hard one whenever she feels like it. You know, if she's married, she gotta do it when her husband ain't around, you know. But yeah, that's all she gotta do. And he's like in love with Holly? Well, Holly's doing the same thing he's doing. Only she's doing it with a lot of other guys, a lot of different guys. Let's face it, okay? There's a lot more rich guys that will pay for a prostitute than there is rich women that will pay for a prostitute. Okay, I know it's not fair, but you don't see any fucking sort of fucking rights for men thing doing that, do you? No, you don't. We're not fucking protesting down the street, are we? Male whores. We want our man whores. We want equal pay too. No, you don't see that shit. Come on. It would be good though if we had it, wouldn't it? Insurance, dental, the whole thing. Yeah. Anyway, moving right along. So of course he's in love with her, whatever the fuck. Who gives a shit, right? I guess you do because you love this movie. So anyway, so he's watching her and she finally notices him. Now she's manipulating him. She's been doing this ever since she met him. She's testing to see what she can get away with to find out whether or not he likes her or not. Well, she can pretty much tell. He's basically the congruence test he has passed. In her eyes, anything that she wants, he will do it because he's so fucking smitten with her that he will fucking pull out her fucking feces with his bare hand and eat it for her. That's how much he's in love with Holly Golightly. Okay, that's how much he's in love with her. He will fucking do it. And he'll do it and he'll ask for seconds because he's so fucking in love with her. And she knows that he is, okay, because she's been testing him this whole time and he has been falling for every fucking bit of manipulation she's been giving him. The push-pull. She actually goes, she's all needy. Oh, I'm so weak, I need you, Paul. Please help me. And then once he helps her, then she's like pushes him away and starts talking about other guys, how hot other guys are, which makes him jealous. That kind of thing. She does that the whole fucking movie, okay? And she's doing it again. She's doing it again right here, okay? She's singing, and then she's kind of, because she's singing, she wants him to hear. That's why she's kind of facing him, his room, when she's singing her song. And then he looks down, smiling at her. She notices him. Well, she knew he was there the whole fucking time. And she starts flirting with him. He tells her, oh, I'm busy writing. All of a sudden, he gets a knock on the door. So he has to say goodbye to her. He goes back inside his apartment. He never left his apartment. He was just sticking his head out the window, looking at Holly singing. He goes back inside the apartment. He opens the door. It's his sugar mama. Now, we don't know her name. I think her name's Elaine something, but we don't fucking know for sure because nobody gives a shit, okay? She's just this middle-aged woman with a super wealthy husband. He's probably a millionaire, okay? And when he's out of town or when he's not around, she comes over to visit Paul to get some deep dickin'. Okay, yes, he is a kept man. Okay, she pays for everything, and all he's got to do is lay the fucking pipe. Okay, yeah, pretty good work if you can get it, right? Well, that's what he's got. Well, anyway, she just showed up. Okay, and she's nervous. She's all freaky, all paranoid. And he asks her what's wrong, and she's like, oh my God, look out the window. And she shows out the window, and he looks out there, and who does he see out there? He sees Jeb Clampett from the Beverly Hillbillies. Yeah, that's right, Buddy Epson himself. Jeb Clampett from the Beverly Hillbillies. And in this movie, he's also playing Jeb Clampett from the Beverly Hillbillies. All right, so he looks out there, and he sees him smoking a cigarette with his fucking little cowboy hat on, his redneck clothes. I mean, he's wearing a suit and tie and shit, but you can tell he's not used to wearing that stuff. He looks out there, he sees him. Well, she noticed him first, and she's been noticing him for a while. He's always outside the apartment. He's always outside the brownstone. Okay, every time she comes over, she's thinking that maybe this guy is a private detective that her husband hired to follow her around to find out if she's been getting filled out, by some other guy, some fucking well-hung young stud. Okay, so he hired a PI, a private dick, to see if she's been getting some private dick. Okay, and so she's nervous that maybe is what happened because she had to cancel her date earlier. Remember, she was supposed to go fuck him one night, but instead she had to stay home because her husband came home early, so she couldn't go visit him. So she said, oh, we can do it tomorrow, that kind of thing. So she thinks that maybe her husband's suspicious, okay, that she's been getting pounded out when he's not around. So she thinks it may be a private dick, okay, chasing her, all right? And if that happens, oh my God, what'll happen if her husband divorces her? Yeah, she won't get shit. Okay, there was no fault divorce back then. Okay, it hadn't happened yet. Okay, so she ain't gonna get shit if she gets busted cheating on her husband, her millionaire husband. So he tells her, hey, don't worry about it. I'll go down there. I'll find out what this is all about. So he puts on his clothes. He goes down there. All right, to find out what the fuck Jeb Clampett is doing. Okay. So anyway, yeah, so she notices Barnaby Jones, and if you're old, you don't understand that reference. Okay, so you're following her everywhere, so she decides to talk to her. All right, so he goes down there. He doesn't confront the man right away. He just looks. He makes sure that they make eye contact, and then Paul starts walking away smoking a cigarette. And then, of course, Barnaby Jones himself, Jeb Clampett, Buddy Epson, follows him, okay? Now, at this time that this movie was filmed, the actor playing this guy, his character's name is Doc Golightly. Doc Golightly, yes, you noticed the last name. Okay, that's Holly Golightly's last name, too. Ooh, is there a connection here? Is that her dad? No, it's her fucking husband. Now, at the time this movie was filmed, Buddy Epson, the actor, okay, he played Barnaby Jones in the 70s. That's where I remember him from. Yeah, I remember him from the reruns from fucking Beverly Hillbillies. I'm not that old, okay? Yeah, he actually, his career started in the 1930s. He was actually hired to play the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz in 1939. He was the Tin Man. He auditioned. He won the role. He was the Tin Man when they were filming The Wizard of Oz in 1939. Okay, now when they put the makeup on him to play the Tin Man, what the stupid ass makeup artist did is he actually used actual real aluminum powder to put on top of the makeup. Well, the aluminum powder, it's very light. So Buddy Epson breathed it in. It got inside his lungs. And the next thing you know, he couldn't fucking breathe anymore. Okay, and they had to rush him to the emergency room. Okay, this is 1938 when they were filming The Wizard of Oz. They had to rush Buddy Epson into the emergency room. Now, before that had happened, okay, MGM had already produced a lot of trailers announcing the cast. They already advertised a year in advance that they were making The Wizard of Oz, and once it hits the theater, you cannot miss it. They already promoted Shirley Temple as having been hired to play Shirley Temple. They promoted Shirley Temple, got hired to play Dorothy. They got Ray Bolger to play fucking the Scarecrow, and they got Buddy Epson. He was in the commercial. They hired Buddy Epson to play the fucking Tin Man. Okay, we already knew, so all that stuff had already been done. Okay, and then this happened. They rushed him to the emergency room. The aluminum dust got in his lungs. He couldn't breathe. He almost fucking died. They had to put him in a fucking iron lung. Okay, well, Louis B. Mayer, the owner of fucking MGM, he's like, what the fuck? How long is he going to be in there? We can't, this is costing us money. Every day he ain't here, it's costing us money. So they decided fucking just to recast somebody. He wasn't going to be well in time, if he was ever well at all. He was not going to be well in time. So they recast. They got a new Tin Man. They got Alan Hale. They got Alan Hale to play the new fucking Tin Man, and they decided, okay, we will learn from our mistakes. We're not going to use aluminum powder this time. We're going to use an aluminum paste. Okay, so it's basically a makeup that already has aluminum mixed in it, so it doesn't fucking go off in the atmosphere anymore. Okay, and that's what they used on Alan Hale. Okay, unfortunately, they put the shit in his fucking eyes. Okay, and he fucking almost went blind. He also had to go to the hospital. Okay. Yeah, a lot of shit was going on in that movie, The Wizard of Oz. Fucking Margaret Hamilton, she got burned. Her whole fucking half of her body got burned. That green makeup that she had on as a Wicked Witch was fucking flammable. So that explosion where she disappears in a ball of fire, that fire, she caught on fucking fire. Yeah, she was in the hospital too, but she kept filming anyway. That's how crazy it was back in the day. Okay, so the only reason I bring that up is because Buddy Epson was the original Tin Man, and because of what his injuries, he did not get. They recast him. He was not in the movie. He was not in the movie. Although there are some scenes, like some far away shots where it is him in there. They did not credit him though. Even though he showed up in the background, non-speaking parts, that they already filmed with him in it, in makeup. But yeah, he was the original Tin Man. It's sad. But on a good note, Alan Hale, his son, like I said, he played the Tin Man. His son, Alan Hale Jr., actually married Judy Garland's daughter, Liza Minnelli. That was like her third or fourth husband. So the Tin Man's son married Dorothy's daughter. Go figure. All right, anyway, so now you know. Moving right along, Buddy Epson was the original Tin Man. He lost his job. He tried to sue the company for giving the role to somebody else because they didn't pay him. Oh, you didn't play the Tin Man. We're not going to pay you. Well, yeah, and of course, you did not sue the private studios back then. They weren't corporations back then. You could not sue them. Okay, so yeah, so he got blacklisted. Okay, and he did this when he was in his early 30s. Okay, but now he's in his early 50s in this movie. Okay, now it's 1961. He's like 54 years old here, or 52 years old, something like that. 53, 54, 52, somewhere around there, okay, when he plays Doc Golightly in this movie, all right? He had not been hired yet to play Jeb Clampett on the Beverly Hillbillies. That would not be for another year. In fact, this movie was basically his audition for the Beverly Hillbillies. Okay, the casting directors, okay, at NBC, they saw this movie and they remembered Buddy Epson's character. So when they were casting the dad, the patriarch of the Clampett family on the Beverly Hillbillies, their first thought, hey, remember that guy from Breakfast at Tiffany's? He would be great as the dad on this show. So they reached out to his agent and they got him. So that's how he got the Beverly Hillbillies, because of this movie. He plays Doc Golightly. All right. So Doc Golightly follows Paul throughout Central Park. Doesn't say nothing. Paul knows he's being tailed, and the guy keeps following him everywhere. So he realized this guy is specifically following him. So finally, he stops at a park bench in Central Park. He just sits there, and Doc Golightly, he stops at a stand to buy some cigarettes and some Cracker Jacks. So he's eating Cracker Jacks and following Paul. Paul finally sits down and says, okay, who the fuck are you? Why are you following me? All right. So now we're introduced to Doc Golightly, okay? Bill. So that's going on here. Okay, he buys some smokes, whatever. Paul says, "What do you want?" And Doc says, Buddy Epson. He says, "Son, I need a friend." So Doc pulls out a picture from his jacket. I guess he kept it with him at all times for emergencies. He pulls out this old picture. Okay, it's a black and white picture of himself with 4 little girls. And then right next to him is a very young Holly Golightly. Yeah, it's Audrey Hepburn. And then a really tall young man. Okay, and he tells her, "This here, this here's my wife." Okay, but he still tells him he needs a friend. Okay, and so Paul immediately he's thinking like, he tells her, "I'm Doc Golightly. I'm from Tulip, Texas. I'm also a vet, and I do some farming too in Tulip, Texas." So he's like, "You're Holly's dad?" He's like, "No, her name ain't Holly. Her real name is Lula Mae Barnes. And I'm her husband, Doc Golightly. I'm a horse doctor, animal man. Do some farming in Tulip, Texas. Well, her brother, you see, is getting out of the army soon. And Lula Mae belongs at home with me, her brother, and her children." And they're like, "Well, wait a minute. These kids are too old to be her children." He's like, "I didn't say that they were her natural born children. Their real mother passed away 5 years ago. Been dry. I married Lula Mae when she was just about to be 13. What the fuck? Oh my fucking God. There was no CPS back then, I guess, And then he shares his Cracker Jacks. "See, you like some?" Of course, Paul, "Yeah, I like some Cracker Jacks. There's a prize there at the bottom." Yeah. Because every Cracker Jack comes with a prize. Anyway, so that's going on. They're having this calm conversation, like everything's okay. He shares his Cracker Jacks, okay? And he doesn't know, he's like, "I don't understand why she done run away. All the girls did all the housework. She had nothing to do. Her and her brother, we caught them stealing. They were stealing turkey eggs and milk. Her and Fred, they ran away from their adoptive parents, who treated her mighty bad. They're a mighty bad situation she was in." Okay, so basically what he's telling them here is that when Holly and Fred's daughter, their mom and dad died, her and her brothers all got sent to different places to go live. And Holly and her brother Fred were adopted by a family that fucking mistreated them, which is code for she was raped. She was sexually molested. Okay, and so her and her brother ran away. Okay, they ran away to about 50 miles somewhere else to Tulip, Texas, where they got caught stealing eggs and milk from Doc Golightly's farm. Okay, so to save her from being raped by her adoptive family, a 49-year-old Doc Golightly decided to marry her. That way he could rape her 13-year-old ass or her 12-year-old ass. Yes. See how he saved her? Anyway, so that happened here. Okay, she ran away. So Holly and her brother, Lula Mae and her brother Fred ran away. He caught them stealing from his farm. He decided to marry her. That way he could have her to himself. Okay, and he tells Fred that I got Lula Mae a bus ticket right now to bring her back home where she belongs. Okay, and then he tells her a little story about how he cried. He cried when he asked her to marry him. And he says, like, "Yeah, I cried when I asked her to be my wife, and she done said, 'Yeah, of course I don't need to cry there, Doc. Of course I'll marry you. I ain't never been married before.'" Now, it's funny when he says it, but you got to remember, she's fucking 12 years old when she says this. Dude, this is, god damn. Anyway, yeah. So Paul is not taking this very well. You can tell by the fucking look on his face, like, just like that, okay? He's not taking it well. Doc asks Paul to let her know that he's there. He doesn't want to shock her or surprise her or anything like that. He's like, "Dude, I'm needing a friend right now. Can you let her know I'm here? I don't want to shock her none. I don't want to scare her." So Paul agrees. and does some fucking terrible acting. Just all right. Yeah, just like that with the fucking music and shit. Oh my god, it's terrible acting, man. You belong in the A team, George. You don't belong in this fucking movie. All right. So later on, Holly's getting dressed in her apartment. She's got her fucking fancy ass clothes on, her black dress. Okay, she's dressed real nice, you know. She's wearing this fucking furry ass white donut on her. I know what it really is, but I'm calling it what like I see it. Okay, she's wearing a furry fucking big white donut on her fucking head with leaves sticking out of it. Yeah. And I wish I could describe it better, but I can't because my eyes were blinded by the goddamn jewelry that was flashing in front of the fucking camera. I couldn't see a goddamn thing. Her earrings, I couldn't fucking see nothing. God damn, dude. I'm probably blinded for life now just from watching that scene. And the filter they used on the close-up of her face didn't help. All right? So that's going on here. Okay, he's there. It's actually Paul is there knocking on the door. She comes in there. She goes, "Oh, Paul, darling. Oh, I wish I can't talk to you right now. I have to be somewhere, but we can have drinks later, okay?" And he's like, "Okay, Lula May." She's like, "Where is he? Is he here?" You know, that kind of. Now she's thinking it's her brother Fred. So the cat's out of the bag. He knows her real name now. He saw the picture. He knows that her husband is Doc Golightly. All right. Okay, and so she's like, "Is he here?" So she comes out looking around like, "Fred, Fred, Fred," you know, looking around. Okay, and of course, Paul is just looking. This is like what, the fifth or sixth time you thought she was going to do something with you, only to fucking focus on another guy, isn't it? So far in this movie, but yet he's still fucking heart sick about this bullshit. Still jealous. Okay. Okay, but anyway, she finally looks and downstairs, right there at the bottom of the stairs, there is Doc Golightly. He's like, "Lula May!" And she's like, "Doc!" Okay, now he's super happy. Doc Golightly's super happy to see his wife, even though she's fucking 31 years old. Go do the math. I don't get it. Okay, in the book, when this scene happens in the book, she's like 18 or 19 years old. Okay, but Audrey Hepburn was 31 when she filmed this movie. Okay, and also in the book, it took place in 1943. This movie takes place in 1961. So, you know, it's weird. Okay, anyway, he's happy to see her, but he walks up and he goes, "Oh, Lula May, look at you. Don't they feed you up here?" Well, yeah, you know, I mean, she's skin and bones. Audrey Hepburn is fucking skin and bones, man. You know, "Gee, Lula May, don't they feed you here?" Anyway, she asks Happy, she actually happy to see him, okay, too. But then he picks her up like a groom does on his bride. Okay, picks her up, and he's just like staring, and carries her into the fucking bedroom. All right, and of course, poor Paul has to see this whole thing happen. The love of his life is being taken into the carried. He picked her up, carried into the fucking apartment. And then, of course, he slams the door, okay? So while Doc Golightly grabs his fucking bride and takes her into the fucking bedroom to fucking, to pound out her back, Paul is all upset and depressed, and he slowly goes back up the stairs to his apartment where his fucking sugar mama is waiting to get pounded out, to have her back pounded out by him, straight up doggy. Yeah, no lube. Yeah, that's the only way to do it. We ain't talking about me, though. All right, so yeah, so that's going on. He's got to pound out his sugar mama. Yeah, that's his consolation. The woman that pays for everything he's got in his fucking apartment. Yeah, now he's got to lay the pipe. He's got to earn his own money. Okay? Meanwhile, Holly's going to get pounded out by Doc Golightly for free, no less. For free. She don't exactly look distressed to see her husband. She don't look distressed. She looks like, "Oh, Doc." You know, like that. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah, so she's fucking Jeb Clampett over there. Okay, after they're both done having sex with their significant others, okay, Holly taps on his window after fucking, you know, of course, E2 left. Or 2E. After 2E left, that's his sugar mama's name in this movie, 2E, because that's the name of his apartment. Okay, she knocks on his window, okay, on the fire escape, and he's like, "What? What do you want? Shouldn't you be fucking your husband some more?" and she tells him that basically Doc wants wants to take her back to Tulip, Texas. She's got a bus ticket for her, okay, and that they're gonna go. They're gonna go to the Greyhound station and go back to Texas. And she tells Paul, like, I can't do it. I'm not going. I need you to come with me, to let him know that I can't go back to Texas with him. You know. He's like, that's your husband, huh? He's like, no, he's not my husband anymore. I had that annulled ages ago. He just doesn't want to let go of me, which is bullshit. Now, that might be true in the movie, but not in the book. In the book, she was still fucking married to Doc Golightly. Okay? There was no fucking annulment. Okay? There was no divorce. Okay? They were still legally married. In the book, they were still legally married. Okay? Yeah. So he agrees to go with her for emotional support. Basically, she wants Paul to actually do the fucking dumping. She's too much of a coward to do it herself, even though that's her own fucking husband, okay? Now, so they go to the bus station. That's the next scene, okay? And Doc is all happy because Lula May's coming back with him to Tulip, Texas, okay? And Paul is uncomfortable. He doesn't want to fucking be there, but he's there, you know, because he's doing it as a favor. Okay, she tells Doc that she's going to ask Fred for some help. Okay, but Doc tells him that this is a private conversation. Okay, so she basically tells Doc, "Hey, I can't go with you, Fred. Let him know." And Doc's like, man, "This is between me and her." And so Paul walks away. Okay, and Doc's like, when you hear the music, the sad music, "I love you, Lula May." Just like that. Okay, now you got to remember, this guy's like 54 years old, and she's 31. But in the book, she would have been 19. Wow. I love you, Lula May. You know, Holly's like, I know you do, and that's the trouble. It's a mistake. You always made trying to love you always made that mistake, always trying to love a wild thing. Bum, bum, bum. Wild thing. Bum, bum, bum. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, anyway, not tone look. But anyway, so basically she tells you, you can't love a wild thing. That's your mistake. You were always loving on wild things. A hawk with a broken wing. A full-blown wildcat with a broken leg. You mustn't give your heart to a wild thing. The more you do, the stronger they get. Strong enough to run away to a rock, to a hill, to a tree, to a high tree, then all up into the sky. No, she didn't say it that way. That's the way she should have said it if she had been true to her character. Think about a redneck hillbilly girl, you know, but she said that with a woman. A woman's voice who was born in Belgium, educated in London, and grew up in the Netherlands. That's how she said it. There's no way in fucking hell you're going to convince me that she used to be fucking white trash hillbilly, okay? No, she sounds like a fucking Euro trash, is what she sounds like. I'm sorry. It's true. It's true. Okay, there's no way you can convince me she used to be a redneck. No fucking way. Okay, so anyway, yeah. So she tells him this. Now, in the book, there was a good line in the book that Truman Capote wrote during this scene. He put down in there that Paul, okay, or the narrator of the novel, he doesn't have a name. In the movie, he's Paul, but in the book, he doesn't have a name. He does write down that, you know, in the book, he does say that you shouldn't ever want to live in the sky because it's empty up there, you know, which is a metaphor for something else, obviously. Double meanings, you know. So yeah, but she does say, tell Doc Golightly, then they go up in the sky. And Doc tries to tell her something, but she keeps cutting him off. Okay, and finally she says, hey, there's something you got to know, Lula May. Fred is coming back from the army in 4 months. So you have to come back with me. And she says, I ain't going back, Doc. I'm not going back. He's like, well, I ain't trying to pressure you none. But if you ain't come back with me, I'm going to have to write him back and tell him that he's going to have to take care of himself. Either that or sign up for another hitch in the army. So basically, if you don't come back with me, then your brother Fred's going to be home. He ain't got no place to live once he gets out of the army. So he's either going to have to re-enlist or he's gonna have to fucking take care of himself somehow, okay? Which is no big deal. Remember, this is 1951. I know Korea was going on, 1961, Korea was over, sorry. This is 1961, we were in no conflicts at that time. Okay, Vietnam wouldn't start for another few years. Okay, so there's nothing going on. Now the book itself, the reason this was an important part in the short story is because the short story takes place in 1943. Okay, during World War II. So her brother had survived World War II and he was coming home. So if he doesn't have a home to live in, he's gonna have to go back to the fucking front lines. Okay, so it's a big deal. She can't let him go back to the war. He might die this time. So that's why she's like, oh, you don't have to do that. I can take care of my brother Fred. I always have. He tells him not to. So she tells him not to write him back. I can take care. He can stay with me. I can take care of my brother. I always have. He can come and stay to New York and stay with me. I can take care of him. Doug, Lula Mae, you're talking all sorts of crazy, Lula Mae. It's like, stop calling me Lula Mae. I'm not Lula Mae anymore. And she hugs him. He's like, all right, Lula Mae. And he gets on the fucking bus. Yeah, you're not Lula Mae anymore, right, Holly? But fucking Paul is still Fred, though, isn't he? Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. All these exchanging fucking names. You still call Paul Fred, and that ain't his fucking name. Okay, so she hugs Doc very tightly, and then Doc gets on the bus. And she finally goes up to the window. He has a window seat, and she goes up to the window seat before the bus pulls away. The window's open, says goodbye to her, and he tells Paul first before he gets in there that, hey, take care of her, that kind of thing, fill her out for me since, I can't do it no more. He's like, I'll try. I've been trying this whole movie. Anyway. But she can't afford me. He should have told him that. Okay, so Holly cries. She's all upset in tears with the filter on her face. Asks him, and she goes up to his window and she holds it. She says, please, I need you to understand, Doc. I love you. But I'm not Lula Mae anymore. I'm not. Do I look like I belong on Hee-Haw? Well, don't worry, Ollie. He's moving on up to Beverly Hills. He's moving on up to Beverly Oil, that is. Black Gold, Texas tea. Yeah. He's going to be a millionaire. And he's going to get away from there. Said California is the place he's going to be, so he loaded up the truck and he moves to Beverly. Yeah. Yeah, but she don't know that. Otherwise, she would have stayed with him. She'd known he was going to be a millionaire. Okay, so she cries watching him go. He doesn't. Okay, and and I understand why she's crying. She's crying because that's her old life. Okay, she hates her old life. She hates the fact that she's Lula Mae Barnes. That's who she really is. Just like Marilyn Monroe hated being Norma Jean Morrison. She hated that. She hated that name. She hated that identity. She had to become something else. She needed to become something else. She had to become Marilyn Monroe. That was the only thing she thought would make her feel better, and it didn't. It didn't. Just led to her death. Okay, more people taking advantage of her, and her destroying herself, okay? Just like Holly Galali, okay? So Holly says, like, the terrible thing is, Paul, is I still am Lula Mae. 14 years old, stealing turkey eggs and running through a briar patch. And fucking my brother, Fred. Unlike you. I just call you Fred, I don't fuck you. But now I got another case of the mean reds. And it's too early to go to Tiffany's. I need a drink. Just promise me you won't take me home until I'm drunk. He's like, no problem. I won't take you home until you're drunk. So he basically lights a cigarette for her and they go off to the fucking titty bar. Yes, the titty bar. All right. Okay, well, I'm going to stop my review right here. I'll be back shortly to continue my review of Tiffany's, the Breakfast at Tiffany's. I thank you for watching this long, and I will see you soon on the next one. Bye.